Okay, we are live. Hey, welcome everybody. Bobby Umar here with my friend Matt Tongay, and he runs a really cool Facebook group called what's it called?
Business Growth Geniuses.
Beautiful. And I met Matt. We're actually part of another mastermind group, and so on his page the other day he talked about LinkedIn groups, and then I said, you know what, LinkedIn groups first off suck, but here's why. And then I also started sharing some of my own learnings from the past year with LinkedIn engagement. And one of the things that I can tell you is that LinkedIn has definitely changed for the better. It's been really bad it was good in the beginning, and then it kind of slowed down because other social media sites kind of caught up and went past it. But I think they're doing some really great inroads in the last year. And so what I thought we'd do today with a little bit of a kind of a mini interview is share some of the upgrades and the things that are going on. So I'll start, but then I'll get Matt will be kind of like the host who's going to moderate questions. But I'm going to start with the one thing that I'll say, which is I met with a few people early this year, and they were saying, LinkedIn's changing. I'm like, oh, okay, really? How? Because my experience has always been with groups that they're actually pretty dead. I mean, they're like cemeteries. People don't even respond to stuff. There's some moderator who just hates every post, and then another moderator that is trying so hard to get people to engage. There's like 5,000 people there and one or two people who are sharing stuff. So it's not really, they're not really value add. And the irony is that LinkedIn, the professional networking site of the world, is being dominated on business groups by Facebook. Facebook has the best business groups as I've seen in terms of like sharing, exchange, knowledge, learning, incredible stuff. And so LinkedIn should have owned that, but they don't. So I think that's one area where they need to really get better. But the other thing I'll say is that LinkedIn has been changing a few things for the better. So for example, here we have video on Facebook Live. LinkedIn now has native video, I've been doing a daily video every morning around 9 a.m. And if I miss that, I do it at lunchtime. Today I did one about Halloween, which is kind of fun. And the other thing, now of course they don't have Facebook Live, like they don't have a live stream like Facebook does or Instagram does or even Twitter does. But again, hopefully they're going to catch up. But that's been a change. And the other big change I've noticed has been the algorithm and the rise of many influencers, even a lot of young people who are getting great traction with their posts, getting great comments, likes. It's actually quite interesting. And so I experimented by doing a daily LinkedIn tip. So I write in text and I started posting as opposed to my normal strategy, which was to share articles and to write the odd LinkedIn article. And what I found was I was getting really, really good traction from the text-based posts, and I started doing that daily. And some were hit, some were missed, but when one took off, it was incredible how much it would take off. And so for me, that's been a big shift in terms of how I've been dealing with LinkedIn in terms of strategy. And so yeah, I think it's important for us to think about what are some of the cool things LinkedIn's doing. And if you have any thoughts about what you're liking, comment below, let me know what you think. But maybe I'll leave it to Matt to maybe follow up with some questions you might have.
So I've had a similar experience with LinkedIn groups where I have one for the Business Growth Geniuses. Actually, it's a group that I took over from someone else that built it around a similar topic, and then I rebranded it and tried to grow it. And it's pretty much a graveyard. Like I have a lot more engagement on Facebook, so it's the same reality that you've described, right? So my question is, should you bother nurturing your LinkedIn group or participating in someone else's group if all that people do is just post their links and don't even engage in other people's posts, and they're pretty much graveyards? So should you even bother with LinkedIn groups in the first place?
Well, I would say that generally speaking, no. There are some groups though, like if you find a good group, and there are some out there that are quite engaging, that's a good thing. You might as well champion that and embrace that. If you can nurture and create your own group that actually is engaging. And so one of the things that I've seen some people do is they create a group that's not just for lots of people, like it's not for 1,000 people, it's really for a smaller curated group of like 30 or maybe 50 people who are definitely engaging. If they're not engaging, they leave. Like the people don't, they say, you know what, you're out of here because you're not engaging enough. So they encourage that. But one way I do engage LinkedIn groups is when I have an article to share or a post that's important to me, I'll share it on LinkedIn, and then what LinkedIn lets you do is automatically lets you share that link with all the groups. So I'll share all the groups at the same time, which saves me a lot of time. But that's really rare. I'll do that honestly like once every several months. It's not really a common thing that I'll do. So one, look for a group that is engaging good. Number two, you can still ask questions. I mean, there's sometimes people ask questions and you'll find the odd thing. And number three, leveraging the ability to share content with LinkedIn groups every once in a while, but honestly, it's not a primary focus. If you want to generate business and get people to read your stuff, you're better off Facebook, Twitter, Instagram for that stuff, or just post on LinkedIn straight up in your status update as an individual profile. You get way more traction from what I've seen with the new algorithms.
So you mentioned that you've experimented with daily tips. Were they text-based, or did you have an image for most of them?
Yeah, so what I've learned is, so the text-based ones get more traction. So if you have a link, don't put it in the actual status update. It actually does less. So you put them, what a lot of people are doing is they put either a short one or a long one, and they'll mention that the link is in the comments. So you put the link in the first comment section. It's way better for traction. So that to me is the way to go. In fact, and I'll give you some comparative examples. I mean, I have about, at this point, I have about 13,000 LinkedIn followers, okay, and connections. But back when I was like, let's say 8,000 or 9,000, I would post an article on the LinkedIn post. And the best ones I ever had, I would get maybe 20, 30 likes, 5 to 10 comments. That's what I would get. With the daily LinkedIn status updates, I'm getting, sometimes they don't get much traction, but, I often get some likes. I've had articles that have no likes, but at least my status updates get anywhere between 5, 10, 20 likes. But some of the best stuff are doing amazing. I'm getting not only, and they'll get maybe 200, 500, 1,000 views, but I'm getting 100 likes, I'm getting 50 comments, I'm getting 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. My best one has been 90,000 views on just one single status update, just for a LinkedIn tip. That's pretty phenomenal. The second best that I've seen has been videos. So the native videos, LinkedIn's pushing those. They really want you to do more native videos, just like Facebook was doing it too with Facebook Lives. And again, those are getting the second best traction as far as I've seen. Some of my best videos have gotten at least maybe, well, the best one I did actually was really, really large. It got about 10,000 views, but some of the other ones have been getting 3, 4, 5,000 views, 100 likes, maybe 30 comments, like great engagement. So to me, the hierarchy is what I'm seeing is the text-based post. Then I see the native videos. Then after that, it's the, sharing a link, sharing an image, sharing whatever.
Have you experimented with LinkedIn ads? Do you think that's worth it, or it's too expensive?
I haven't actually tried it. I mean, Facebook does really well with their targeting. It's very specific targeting, and my experience with LinkedIn ads as well as Twitter ads is that they don't have the same sophisticated targeting. They don't have the same sophisticated analytics to learn from the way Facebook does. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't try it, but for the most part, I'm able to use LinkedIn, and LinkedIn has actually really good advanced search function. So if you leverage that, you can actually really target the right people you want, especially if you have a premium account. I mean, for the premium account, you can target people and message people 100 times per day. It's actually quite effective. So I'm not sure how effective LinkedIn ads are, but if anyone has information on that, comment below, let me know, because I'd love to know what anyone's doing best practices. I haven't seen very much out there, people using it.
Okay, so let's say you have good engagement on your posts. People are liking them, they're commenting on them. Maybe some of them are even messaging you. How do you use that engagement and turn that into sales? Depending on what you're offering, of course, if you're offering like a service, a coaching program, or a product, how do you turn that into sales?
Well, so a few things. One is you get a boatload of requests for calls and pick your brains and coffees, and so you have to have a standard way of saying no, or that's not really what I'm going to be doing. So that's the first thing you have to, because I get a lot of those. So I have a standard script that I tell people, and that's important to have. Being able to say no to all that stuff. Number two, then even if it is a no, what can you offer? So I'll offer a few opportunities for them to engage me in other ways. And then I'll throw in, I'll say, look, if you really want to pick my brain and you want, if you're interested in coaching, I'll throw it out there. You can do that. But then the third thing I do is ask really pointed questions. I say, listen, what's your struggle? What's your challenge? Tell me a bit more about your business. What are some of the challenges and issues you're having with your business? And then if they answer those questions in a way that appeal to what I do in terms of, coaching. So I coach typically people to be better speakers, get more speaking gigs. I coach people to hone their startups and ramp up their social media, or transition. So those things so if those things come to play, and most people when they message me say those things, they have those things of feeling lost, or I need to transition, I need to ramp up my business, I need more focus, accountability. Right away, I'll ask very pertinent questions to get them to really focus on, number one, what's their pain point? Number two, what's their bliss point? And then number three, why are they reaching out to me specifically, and how they think I can help them? And once they answer those questions, I will then be able to convert that into a conversation or a phone call where we then specifically talk about, okay, let's talk about how I can help you via coaching or consulting.
Okay. What about content creation? How often should you post content? You mentioned that you're doing daily tips, but what would you advise for people, especially if they have a business? Like, how often should they post content? What kind of content should it be? How valuable should it be? And yeah, just the whole content creation process.
Okay, so again, it really depends on how much time you're willing to put in, but minimally, I think if you don't have much engagement or followers, you could post something daily. Like, seriously, spend 5 minutes in the morning. That's the best time. The best time to post is in the morning before, 8:30, 8 a.m. and or lunchtime, or like around work quitting time. So 4:30, 5 p.m., that type of thing. But if you only can do once per day, spend 5 minutes and just share an idea, anything. And if you don't have an idea, share a freaking quote, like just anything, just share anything. Get it out there and put it out there. If you want to be a little bit more advanced, you can do it beyond daily. You can do 3 times per day. So before work, lunchtime, in the evening, right? And you can even, in addition to that, throw in a weekly article on the LinkedIn articles and really start, pumping up the content. In terms of the type of content, again, with the status updates, mix it up. Right, so you have the short ones, but you have a nice long one. The long ones are the opportunity for you to come up with a quick problem statement or some sort of thing to catch their attention. You tell them a story, what's the lesson, what's the learning, and share that with people. And then invite people, have a call to action, invite people to join you in the conversation. It can really make a big difference. And then the other thing that's happening now, there's a big trend with some new hashtag type movements, as we call it. There was one called Let's Get Honest, and it was either video-based or text-based, and people were just saying, just share something really honest about something you struggle with. And people are sharing stuff about mental health issues, and I shared a bit about my challenge with binge eating. Some people talk, it was really powerful stuff, really great stories. That was amazing. Another one that I was working on that I kind of tried to start, people were doing, is called hashtag not on my resume. And so people share something they're proud of, but it's not really something that's on their resume or on their social media profile. So I talked about the scholarship I worked on for a student of mine who died of cancer, and it's not something I'm on my profiles or my resume, but it's something I'm proud of. I talked about that, and so those hashtag movements, there's a lot of them out there. There's actually I've now seen like probably 7 or 8. Another big one is going on right now called What I'm Working On, hashtag What I'm Working On. In fact, LinkedIn even gives you a little diagram you can use, like the image, what that's called, like an Instagram or Snapchat, the little headline, the banner. They give you a banner to use for what I'm working on, and then you can post that video, which is kind of cool. So those are some of the things I would use to create really good content. And and how do you create content? Like, I get content every day. I mean, you posted just yesterday, Matt, and then I said, hey, you know what? That's content. And so here we are. And I jot things down on my phone. I often tweet things. I often write stuff down, and I have a Word document where I keep track of all the ideas of things I want to share just from my daily life. Listen to somebody, a conversation, someone else posts something, you want to give your own perspective. That's all great content. And then ultimately, if you still can't come up with your own original content, you can curate content. Although I think it's much better for you to come up with original content that's from yourself. Is that helpful?
Absolutely. One more question I have is, I've noticed for me personally, I have a business page. I have my personal account, of course, my personal feed, and I have the Business Growth Geniuses group. So for my business page, I'm getting virtually no engagement whatsoever, and it's really hard to get likes. I haven't really been promoting it, but it's there, right? It's.
You're talking about LinkedIn or talking about Facebook?
Yeah, no, I'm still talking about LinkedIn. So I have, a business page, my personal page that everyone has, and then I have my group page. So I've noticed that on my personal feed, that's where, of course, I get the most engagement. I think that seems to be normal, but what are your thoughts on business pages on LinkedIn as opposed to Facebook? Is it worth it?
Man, I'm the same boat. I have a business page too that I've been trying to grow. It's very hard to get traction. I mean, unless you're a really established brand like Coca-Cola or Nike or Lululemon, people are not going to want to follow you for updates. They'd rather have, and even now, people are wanting to follow the individuals. They want to follow, the CEO of LinkedIn or the CEO of Lululemon to see what they're posting. So until such time that I see better traction on business page and better traction on business groups, I don't see the need to invest the time and energy. I think that use your individual profile, leverage the algorithm of LinkedIn to bring attention cause to what you're doing, direct them back to your place where you engage the most, whether it's a Facebook group or whether it's a website or a community forum, whatever it might be. I think that's the way to go. I don't see any. I mean, the people might disagree with me, but I don't see it right now. I don't see anybody gaining anything. People don't go on LinkedIn to check out the pages. They go on LinkedIn, to look for a job. They go on LinkedIn to connect with people. They go to LinkedIn to, find inspiration in the stories. And most of them are coming from the feeds of individuals now. So I think that's what people are doing. I don't have the data to back that up, but I mean, that's the trend I'm noticing in the last 8 months. But until such time there's no data to support the business groups and the business pages, yeah, I wouldn't spend as much time. The problem is you can't not have it, right? You have to have it. So like, say I have a website. I mean, I have a website now, but seriously, who goes to my website? I don't even know anymore. Like it doesn't get the people go to my Twitter profile, or my Instagram profile, or my Facebook business page for the most part. That's where most people are coming into my realm of business, or LinkedIn.
Okay. What about building an email list? Because that's generally really important if you want to build your audience. How do you build an email list using LinkedIn?
Well, the common example is similar to what we did in Facebook, which is, we share a nugget, a lead magnet, and people sign up for it. So similarly, actually, one of my friends, Manu Goswami, he's a big LinkedIn influencer. And actually, we're doing a LinkedIn Toronto meetup. There's this little slight pitch, November 29th in Toronto. It's going to be really amazing. But one of the things that he did one time was he had this really great business plan that he wanted to share with people and said, people, put your email in the comments below. Now, what happened was he got thousands of people, and then he had to hire people to he could claim the email addresses. So what you want to do is you have that lead magnet in your text-based post, and then you insert a link in the comments to say sign up for it here to download it, and that's how you capture the emails. And that's really, to me, the best way. Some people might be using ads, but I haven't seen it so much. I think the easiest way is to use the text-based post and get people to sign up via a link.
Okay, so do you spend a lot of time finding people to connect with and then sending them a message, like a connection message? And also, what do you think about the premium LinkedIn Souls Navigator accounts and that sort of thing?
Well, okay, so the first thing is, yes, I send a thank you personal introduction message to every single contact that adds me. I'm at the point now, though, where I've hidden my automatic acceptance. Like, they have to have my email address. But honestly, when people send me a quick message, hey, I'd love to connect with you, I say, sure, here's my email. Like, it's not that hard to just put that in extra effort. I'll say almost yes to everybody. So people have to either, use that or they have to follow you. I mean, because, there's a certain point now, from my long-term strategy is to get past 30,000. And 30,000 is the limit of the number of connections you can have on LinkedIn. So I'm mindful of that in terms of my strategy. Sorry, I forgot the question. I lost my train of thought. And repeat for me, what was I talking about?
The paid LinkedIn accounts that allow you to get more information about
Right. So, okay, sure. So when it comes to premium, I mean, premium is amazing if you have the time. So if you have the time to, like, if you're really cutthroat hungry and you got 10 hours a week, yeah, premium is amazing because you can email tons of people. You can use the sales navigator to target really, really specifically. You can send tons of messages daily. You can search way more than you can. Like the basic program doesn't allow you to search very much. So from a job search or from a business building perspective, if you have the time, it's great. Now, that said, if you don't have the time, there are ways to, still use premium every once in a while. So, I use premium for the 30-month trial. And on that day, I added 100. I sent 100 messages each day, and I sent 100 connection requests daily to people that I thought were, strong targeted people in my area. So, but then I did that for a month, and I ended it. But for me, I still reach out to people. I still try to connect with like 10, 20 people per day. And there are some really cool tools out there, like LinkedIn Helper is a great tool to help you automate some messages if you want. I don't have the time now to add everybody in terms of a personal message, but for the most part, I think premium can be really good if you have the if you afford it, B, if you have the time. But if you understand some of the automation tools you can use to help that also, or if you have an admin to help you, great. Like I would have an admin help me with the thank you messages or welcome messages for sure.
Okay. Do you feel that? I guess that's my last question that I'm thinking of. But do you feel that Facebook is pretty much taking over in terms of engagement, in terms of people's attention, whereas LinkedIn remains a good tool for people looking for jobs and companies having a bit more information about them, and of course, I think the LinkedIn feed is interesting. I've never or very little used it. Sometimes when I log on to LinkedIn to go and post something, I'll look and I'll see some messages and I'll engage with them, but it's pretty rare. Whereas on Facebook, I engage a lot more, right? And of course, since I'm an entrepreneur, I have a business, I have a group. I'm focused mostly on those things, and I'm trying to produce content for those. So that's most of my attention that goes there, right? I engage mostly with the people that are part of my community, but I've been attracted to some of the messages that appear on the LinkedIn feed, right? So where do you think the attention is going, especially in regards to Facebook compared to LinkedIn? And also because Facebook has live video and a lot of focus on video, whereas LinkedIn doesn't as much.
Well, one, I think LinkedIn is trying their darndest to catch up to everybody else. The truth is Facebook and Instagram have done a marvelous job of being ahead of the pack, anticipating and creating growth and evolving. And as much as we complain, oh, another new Facebook change. Well, you know what? They're changing and evolving because we're not. So they're doing it, which is great. And a lot of people on LinkedIn are not complaining, oh, LinkedIn is becoming Facebook because people are sharing personal challenge or whatever. But, ultimately, what's happening is, and my initial influence has always been on Twitter, right? And I've seen Twitter do well, and now they've been sucking, and so my engagement's changed there. But what you'll find is there's someone who swears by Facebook and swears by Twitter and swears by LinkedIn and swears by Instagram, and someone even swears by Snapchat. Because whatever content you create and whatever tribe you build, they will come. Whatever soapbox you choose to stand on, you can build something there. For me, it was initially Facebook and Twitter, and now I'm starting in a lot this year focusing more energy into LinkedIn. So where do I see it going? I see it going in the sense that almost every one of these platforms are going to place a huge currency on authenticity, vulnerability, genuineness, being real. They're just going to do it back in the days. I would probably spend 80% of my time on LinkedIn sharing professional business updates. That's changed. It used to be 80-20 there, and then on Facebook was 20-80, and it's changed. People on Facebook are also spending more time sharing business stuff than they used to versus personal. I'm sharing more personal stuff on LinkedIn all the time. So I think that's a shift. The question is, where are your clients? Where are the people that you want to engage? I know that Facebook for me is where all my friends are, and so I share really personal things from the heart on Facebook. On LinkedIn, I know that those friends are there, but they're mostly professionals. So I focus my energy on personal, but professional, but personal stuff that happens. Business is personal. Like people say it's not really personal, that's a crock. Like everything's personal to us, So if my kids are sick, that affects my work. If I'm struggling with depression, that affects my work. If I can't eat properly, that affects my work. So I think on LinkedIn, it's just a difference in terms of how and what I post there. It's a little bit different than Facebook. So I kind of look at it as, to me, Facebook's my living room, right? You're at my house for a house party, we're hanging out. I'm telling you stuff about politics, social justice, whatever in my life. On LinkedIn, I look at that, I'm at a conference, right? I'm at a business conference. What am I going to talk about? I still talk about personal stuff. And then Twitter's a schoolyard. So that's, again, a totally different audience. And again, there I share whatever the hell I feel like. I'm a little bit more snarky there. I'm a little bit more jokey there. Yeah, so part of it, I think that the shift is really more authenticity, more engagement that's real and honest, and people will respond well to that. Now, that said, there's the caveat. What about those people who are sharing politics? Like people are sharing about politics on LinkedIn, all places. The truth is, you're allowed to share whatever you want, wherever you want. Just take responsibility for it. The truth is, the person who's, let's say, hating on Trump or hating on Canada or whatever, or hating on, I don't know, SEALs, whatever they will attract their own tribe there of people that love their content and follow them for a reason, and that's to their own detriment or to their own reward.
Okay, I guess one more. Do you use any tools to maybe schedule your posts, or do you do it just manually, like every day you go and create content, you post it that day, and you have that sort of routine or habit of posting content? Like any tools you would recommend?
Yeah, I use it a lot. I mean, having become a social media influencer, I mean, I have 450,000 followers, so like I have to learn how to navigate that, and I have limited time. So over the years, I've evolved different tools and different systems. Right now, my primary systems, I'm going to call them, is one, I use Hootsuite combined with Content to have RSS feed content targeted for different types of topics. I use Meet Edgar, which is a great tool for sharing different content across different platforms. I use If This Then That for, I'll call it like seasonal type stuff, things like that. What else do I use? I think those are the main ones from a content perspective. There are other tools out there, but I don't have time to get into it. I know, there's some that people are using for Instagram and whatnot, but I think probably those are the main ones that I use to. I would say the other thing I do is I do have an admin that helps me with some of the social media real content. Theoretically, I could probably replace her with Meet Edgar, but there's something also to be said about some of the content she's creating too. Because all the social media platforms, they do prefer to have you post from the platform live. They want that. So that's why LinkedIn's pushing the whole engagement via text status update, because they want you to be there online posting versus somebody else.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that you've given a lot of jobs, as Gary Vaynerchuk would say, job, right hook. So now what's your right hook? What's your ask? What do you want people watching to do? What's the call to action?
Well, if it's about LinkedIn, I'm gonna suggest all of you try to engage more. So I'd love to get you all doing videos on LinkedIn. That would be amazing. So I'm gonna ask you, if you want to start with a couple of text-based posts and just track it, tag me, say, hey, Bobby told me to post something, here it is. But I want to transition you to video, and I want you to start, joining some of the campaigns, like what's not on my resume, what I'm working on, the Let's Get On This thing. And there's another one, we're actually starting another one on Friday called Parentpreneurs. So anyone who's a parent and an entrepreneur, start sharing content. But I want to transition you guys to videos, and tag me in all your videos, and check out all my daily videos in the morning. I'd love to see your thoughts, comment on them. Comment, engage. You're gonna find it's gonna serve you well.
Okay, so what about you? What kind of services you offer? If people want to learn more from you, basically, what do you have to offer?
Yeah, so I mean, I normally work as a speaker, but I also run a couple of programs. I have a program called Speaker Mastermind Group. So basically, I coach people to get more speaking opportunities, get better, to become a world-class speaker, and also get paid for some of your speaking gigs. That's a coaching program that I've launched. I also have another program called Networking Mastery, which is basically everything to do with becoming better at networking in whether online or whether in real life. And then coaching. I mean, I do a lot of business coaching. And people transition from company A to B, or industry A to B, or from corporate to entrepreneurship, or people want to hone their business idea and come up with the why, the purpose, the vision, the target, all that kind of stuff, or to ramp it up to the next level. So, I coach people on, getting more leads, getting more social media followers, creating better content, being a strategic sounding board, giving them more focus and accountability. I also leverage my network, from a coaching perspective. I was like, you know what, I can connect you because I have 13,000 connections. I will champion you. So those are the type of things that I also help people get TEDx talks. So those are different things that I coach people on. So either my online program or my group coaching programs, or the coaching for specific needs you have for your career.
Okay, I'm pretty much out of questions. So do you have anything to add, or that's about it?
No, that was good. No, it's good to share this stuff, and hope people are enjoying this. And after we're done this, we'll share it on your business group as well. I also share some. I have my own Facebook page called the Power of Connection group, and you can share there as well. And we'll also share on your is it BBG, right?
And make sure to check out the Facebook group for Business Growth Geniuses. If you type that, you can find it. You can ask to join, and depending on your profile, it shouldn't be a problem. I could be able to accept you. So,
all right.
Thank you, Bobby. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. That was great, and looking forward to doing these again.
Sounds good. Have a great day.
Right. See you guys.
Cheers.